Let's flip it over to the college ranks. The national championship game for the first ever 12-team college football playoff is set, where Monday the Ohio State Buckeyes will take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in Atlanta. What were your thoughts of both of these teams' semifinal wins last week?
Yeah, so it feels like a long time ago because of all the NFL action we watched, but it was
Yeah,
only Thursday and Friday, and Notre Dame won that game, and it's still kind of hard to believe they won that game. I mean, they're down 10-0. They're down late in the fourth quarter, 24 to
mm,
17. Penn State's running the ball all over them. And Notre Dame isn't really the team that you want to be trying to catch up because Riley Leonard, he's a gamer, but he's not the best passer. You kind of need them to be playing in a positive game
yeah,
script. So Leonard could use his legs and they could kind of run the ball with their running backs and kind of try to dominate on the offensive line. But it was Penn State who dominated on the offensive line. So it was really
hmm
surprising to see Notre Dame coming back when it was 10-0. I was just thinking Penn State's has this. Even though it wasn't like a huge margin of victory, I just wasn't sure if Notre Dame would be able to score much in
yeah,
that game. But they did figure things out in the second half. Full credit to Marcus Freeman getting them ready. They had the opportunistic
hmm
interception that leads to the field goal and they end up winning the game. And they set up a day
yeah,
against Ohio State, who probably played their worst game of the three playoff games against Texas, mostly because they were so good against Tennessee and Oregon. But I think that's
yeah,
kind of a scary proposition for Notre Dame that maybe Ohio State just threw out their C- game, and maybe they're going to return back to an elite level in this one
hmm
against a Notre Dame team that I'll talk about has some injury questions going into Monday
yeah.
night.
All right, Nate. Ohio State is currently a 9.5 point favorite. Total is set at 46. What are the key things you're looking for heading into this game?
Yeah, so the biggest thing for me is injuries, the Notre Dame
hmm
injury situation. So both teams are playing their 16th game of the season, which is something
Yeah,
very uncommon for college kids back in the old four-team format. And if you're playing a conference, the most games you're going to play is 15. So
yeah,
16th game, I think this is kind of the time of year where players are dealing with something, even if they are going, and that depth is going to come into play. So Notre Dame, they lost two offensive linemen against Penn State, which is another reason why I'm surprised that they came back because when those guys went down, I just figured that they weren't going to be able to mount the comeback offensively, even though they were able to
hmm
figure it out. So left tackle Anthony Knapp, he'll be out for this game. Right guard Rocco Spindler, he also left the Orange Bowl. I'm not sure exactly his status, so I'm sure there'll be some updates for him. I think one thing that could maybe help Notre Dame in this game and have a chance is they did get back Charles Jagusaw, who came in and played right tackle or sorry, right guard
hmm
for Spindler. But originally Jagusaw was supposed to play left tackle going into the season. He was supposed to be the Joe Alt replacement, but he got hurt in fall camp. So maybe Jagusaw, now that he's healthy from that pec tear that he had back in August, maybe he kicks out to left tackle and they just kind of figure it out at
hmm
right guard, whether it is Spindler or one of the backups. But regardless, even if it was kind of like a more healthy Notre Dame offensive line, this would be a tough matchup against the Ohio State defensive line, who's just playing at a really high level right now, led by Jack Sawyer, who had that highlight reel moment where he sacks Quinn Ewers, strips the ball, picks it up, and runs it in for a touchdown late in the fourth quarter to clinch the game. You also have to factor in the running back injury. Jeremiah Love clearly not playing at 100%. He did have some good moments against Penn State, but I still think he's going to be on a snap count or limited with the knee injury he has. And
hmm
because Notre Dame's passing attack isn't great with Riley Leonard, I think Love not being fully 100% does hurt them, which is at least not ideal. And Notre Dame in general is just going to struggle to score in this game. Maybe they cover, but I do think if you are looking to make one bet in this game without any kind of futures and on one team or the other or a rooting interest, I do think the Notre Dame team total under 17 and a half makes a lot of sense because I do give the Ohio State defense a huge edge when Notre Dame has the ball because of the Notre Dame injuries. On the other side of the ball, I do see Ohio State running well with Henderson and Judkins, just like Penn State did with Singleton and Allen. If the run game doesn't work, which I don't see why it wouldn't, but if it doesn't, you have Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Buka, and Carnell Tate at wide receiver who really kind of stepped
hmm
up against Texas because the Longhorns did a really nice job stopping Jeremiah Smith, holding him to just one catch. So, I
Yeah,
mean, Notre Dame, I will give their secondary credit. They did not allow Penn State receiver to have a reception the other night, but these Ohio State receivers are a lot different and a lot more
yeah.
talented and are going to be in the NFL. very soon. So I'm not going out on a
Hmm.
limb here, but I do like Ohio State to win the national championship.
Sure.
I don't know if I want to lay the points because I do think Notre Dame can kind of grind it out, and maybe that's the under is the way to go. But my favorite bet in this game is the Notre Dame team total under. It's at 17 and a half.